Hello, everybody. It's me. It's you. It's us. We're here. Hello. Why is my chat not refreshing? Hello, chat. Uh-oh. 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 My chat doesn't want to work on Whiteleaf. Uh-oh. Okay. Hello. Let me see if I can get this to pop out again. Hello. No. Okay. Well, that's troublesome. Fascinating. Okay, well, I guess I'm just going to rearrange my whole... I can pop out the YouTube chat and put that over here, and then I won't be able to see how many likes are on the video, but that's fine. Okay, well, that's something. We have, like, at least a partially workable solution to this problem. Okay, there we go. There we go. Now I can see most of the things that I need to see. The thumbnail is funny. Thank you. Yeah, I got back from, I did a million billion errands this morning. So, and I didn't get back very soon. Like, okay, so whenever I take a picture for the thumbnail, I do that about an hour before the stream starts. And I had gotten back pretty recently. So I might still have like imprints on my face from wearing my N95, I put on my mask and then I go out into the world and I don't take that bitch off until I get home. That's what you're supposed to do, by the way, with personal protective equipment, in terms of disease prevention. So, and then also I'm working on a giant, can you see the giant pimple that's starting to form right there? That's painful. Giant pimple starting to form on my face. So I'm like, yeah, I'm a little ugly today. That's okay. My hair is up in the bun that I put it in last night before bed. I wonder what's going to happen if I take my hair down. I have like hair gel in it from 2 days ago, and I need to talk to some people about what do you do for your curly hair? Because like the products that I'm using are not getting the results that I want. There. You see my ugly ass hair. It's fine. It's fine. I don't actually believe I'm ugly, everybody. If you weren't here for it, when I joked recently that Jovan asked me, like, he was like, I call myself the leftist cuck. I don't know about you. And I was like, well, I'm too hot to be sitting in the chair. I do believe that. And also, that's not my kink, personally. My kink is not that one. Oh my God, what are you doing? What are you doing? I feel like it's unfortunate that my hair is on this side of my face, and that's also where my microphone is. Let's do this. Whoa! Where did Sokka go? I know. Hi, Mama. But yes, hello, everybody. Hi, Drea. Hey, Ash. Hi, Faulty Branches. Nuvenol. Hello, hello. I have a bunch of pimples thanks to tea. Yeah. Yeah, this is me wondering if I have, this is like, I think, polycystic ovarian syndrome. Like, oh, my hair looks much better on this side. Damn, what the fuck? Anyway, I have like, I get acne like all over my back and like under my boobs, even when I'm not wearing a bra. Like, I had one in my armpit this week. It was so painful. And then I'm getting this one on my nose. Like, damn, crazy. Anyway. Hi, Sapphic Hazard. Hello, Banana Brains and YouTuber Grudge. It's so fucking weird to me having my chats in the opposite place. Like, normally the chat for YouTube is on the right side and my website chat is on the left. So I'm like, I'm all confused. Bloody Hatter. I think my problem is the products that I use are like not the right ones for my hair. Like, there's no fucking way I'm gonna deliberately take a cold shower. So I'm sorry if rinsing cold, maybe that's my problem. I have Selsun Blue because I have like I get acne on my scalp, so I use Selsun Blue. I have like a peppermint and spearmint co-wash is what it's called. It's like a conditioner shampoo. And then I have a Tresemme rinse out conditioner. Usually I use some combination of those. Sometimes I use a clarifying shampoo. Maybe I'm just overdue for a clarifying shampoo. And I have like a 10-minute leave-in conditioner that I use sometimes. And then after the shower, I put in a rice protein curly girl thing, And then sometimes I do gel afterwards. And then I wrap my hair in a t-shirt for 10 minutes. And then usually I let it air dry, but sometimes I blow dry it. Anyway, okay. Well, first of all, okay, so normally I don't really correct people in like the line, but like if you're here on my channel, you should know that I use either it, its, or they, them pronouns. We are not she, herring the vibes over here, but thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I wasn't late. I wasn't late today. I was like basically right on time. Listen, I think maybe I started at like 2:01 instead of 2 o'clock. Okay, sorry. I wasn't late. I was late on Sunday. I told you guys I was talking to my sister. Anyway. Oh, mama, yeah, be careful. Tomorrow I'm gonna go yell at my city council about ICE cooperation. Might get disappeared. I doubt it, but
Drea has donated $50. Time to update the Lux Appreciation Fund.
Drea, starting us off super strong with a $50. Jesus Christ, so generous. Thank you. I never know how to respond when the donations come in, but thank you. That's very sweet. And I'll add that to the goal. Look at that. Number jump up. Number didn't just go up. Number jump up. We are going to be opening the treasure chest today if we get to $100 in donations. And that's the goal. That's the goal for today. Whoop, nope. Don't need to be here. Let's go over here. Boop, boop. Come back. All my chats. Anyway. I know, a full minute late. It's a crime. Hi, William. Only my hair gets the cold treatment. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I guess I could just wash my hair completely separately. But oh my god, that's a pain. Like, I gotta lean all the way over in the shower. Ugh. Anyway, we're not here to listen to me talk about my hair. I mean, I guess you're here to talk about whatever, but... Plot twist. The sleeves are the treasure chest and the biceps are the treasure. Yeah. I have been working out recently, just not my upper body at all. Only lower body. Oh, I got my little pedals, and then I've been doing like exercises where you sit on the floor. I'm getting evaluated for POTS next week and I'm so excited, you guys. And the way that they do it is apparently like super definitive. So like I was originally thinking I was going to have to do an EKG and everything, but no, they're like the POTS testing that we do is pretty definitive. I think that diagnosing POTS, which is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, I think it used to be like they would rule out a bunch of other things and then give you and then diagnose you with POTS. But now it's like they have some kind of testing that they do that's like definitive so that you actually know what it is. And I'm doing it next week and I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. Somebody asked about the hoodie. Yeah. This is my hoodie, my merch from my website, which is linked in the description below. You can check it out if you want. My hoodies are comfy. They're warm. Honestly, I wear this thing a lot around my house. Like, if I'm chilly, I'm like, ooh, you know what? I want to wear this hoodie, and it's comfortable. It's a premium hoodie, in fact. So you can get one on the merch website if you want to. You get free shipping if you spend more than $70. So if you get one hoodie and one other item, you get free shipping, which is a big deal because the shipping is fucking expensive on my fourth wall. That's not my fault. I'm not like I'm setting the prices, but like shipping is just fucking expensive. I think everybody has gotten so accustomed to the free Amazon shipping that it's hard to reckon when you need to ship something without the Amazon benefit. It's fucking really expensive. Ooh, yes, mama, I love that. I've changed up my gym routine a bit, so I do fewer exercises each day, but I take them all as close to failure as I can. Hopefully I start to see some new gains. Yes. I love that. Yeah. Shipping via USPS is astronomical. Yeah. I had to ship something through UPS this week, and even that was like, it was not a light object. It was like a fairly heavy object, but it was like $30 to have it shipped, halfway halfway across the country, I guess, all the way across. I don't know. A lot of the line chat links here. Yes. Isn't that wonderful? Now, so it's great, but it's then all of you leave in 2 hours when Matt's show starts. So I appreciate having so many people from the line here. It has been so wonderful having such a wonderful community over there. Oh my God, I need to fix the tension in my arm, apparently. But it's been so great to have so many wonderful fans from the line and all my wonderful coworkers at the line. It's been a busy fucking week for me on the line. We did a 6-hour stream on Saturday, and then we did like a 5-hour stream on Sunday, and then we did a 9-hour stream on Monday. And then thank goodness we had kind of a more normal length stream for Chewed Gum last night. But it's been a big week. So I'm looking forward to, oh shoot, yeah, I have, if Jimmy's feeling well tomorrow, then I have the Jimmy Snow and the Line Calling It Now show tomorrow, but at least I'm not doing double duty on Takis. Good gracious. Yeah. You did a great job producing. Thank you. It's not the most difficult thing in the world. You just have to pay attention. And I have like my little perfectionism anxiety, so I end up paying more attention than maybe I sometimes need to. I think sometimes if I know that I'm dealing with hosts who will take a caller and just go for 45 solid minutes, I just don't really need to be listening to that whole conversation. I just don't really need to be there the whole time. Zach Streams has a question from a cis person. Do you ever stop being trans? Does transition end? So that's a really interesting question. I'm happy to answer it. I really appreciate you guys, bringing me your comments and questions in the chat there. So you're always trans in terms of like, unless you detransition, it's like if you stop identifying as trans and you go back to what you were doing before, like all of that stuff, I think that's kind of the only situation where we say that someone is no longer trans. But it is a really interesting question about dysphoria, because there's the whole conversation of some people say you have to have dysphoria, which is like the distress that you experience when your gender and your body are like not in alignment with each other. So does someone have dysphoria forever is a different question, right? Because like if you get all of the hormones and all of the surgery that you want, if you're totally socially integrated, if everybody in your life treats you the way that you want to be treated as far as gender is concerned, you might get to a point where you basically don't have dysphoria anymore. So you always are trans, but whether you have dysphoria or not. And now I want to also say, some people may choose to stop putting the trans label out there. Like I've heard of some people who they're binary and they go for full, like from one thing all the way to the other. And they might start to go like, well, I'm a man with a transgender history, but they don't really want the trans part of their identity to be a big part of their day-to-day life. So if somebody chooses to stop identifying as, if they just say, I'm a man, because they've fully transitioned to a man and they don't really want to constantly think about or talk about the trans thing, I don't find a problem with that. That's a personal choice for them to make. So yeah, I saw there was an Erica and Forrest VOD that was like 9 hours long, and I was like, oof. Normally we go for like 8 hours, and that's what I was prepared for. I bought pizza, I had pizza delivered. I was all in the zone, and it ended up going for 9 hours, and I was like, oh, it's fine. I'm like good natured about it. We made a lot of money, so I'm not going to complain too much. I also feel, okay, so I do feel like, so not only is it like the more work I do for the line, the more money I make, because that's how it works. We have a socialist model of distributing the money. So the more I work, the more money I make. But also, because a portion of the money we make, whether that's through super chats or ad revenue or whatever, a portion of that money goes into the pool that we all get paid from. So like if you're hosting, you get a certain percentage of the super chats. Like, so straight up, if there's $100 in super chats, you get a certain percentage of that. But there's also like a point system. So however many times you are on the show, you get money from like stuff like the merch store or the Patreon, where it's stuff for the whole channel. And so you have a point system. So the more money that goes into that pool, meaning like ad revenue, like I said, ad revenue, memberships, Patreon, merch stuff. So the more money that goes into that pool, the more everyone gets paid. So I do also feel like a rising tide raises all ships. So the more I make, like the more I work, the more value we bring to the whole channel, the more everybody makes money, right? So that is, you know, significant when it comes to January, and that ad revenue drops in January and views drop in January. Like, yeah, it's crazy. You split tips with a kitchen in a sense, kind of. Yeah. I mean, that's how you would divvy up the wealth from privateering or piracy back in the day. See, I always knew that pirates were socialists. Yeah. Do you think that using the term binary could be misleading, and should we use the term conforming instead? Binary refers to like the construct that has been presented to us in society. So the situation that's been presented is you're either a man or a woman. So we have the term non-binary for anybody who doesn't fit into those boxes. I don't think conforming works as a term in this context, because like if you saw my video that I just uploaded this week, yesterday, where a caller accused us of having a sexist definition of gender, OMG, trans people are sexist. I pointed out that there are people who identify with a binary gender, but are gender nonconforming. So like we have, like, let's say there's a trans woman. She was assigned male at birth. She identifies as a woman, but she identifies as like a butch lesbian, and she works on cars, and she has dirt under her fingernails, and she plays sports or whatever. So that would be a gender nonconforming binary trans woman, right? So I think that these are terms that just have like different contexts and different applications. But language is always evolving, and I'm open to the idea that I'm wrong, or that we should adjust or should change something. That just kind of is the dynamic right now. Yeah, that's true, Drea. YouTube does get the biggest cut of super chats because they take 30% of your donations, and then out of the rest of that, we divvy it up between the producer, the hosts, and a portion of that goes, like I said, into the pool. Feeling less dysphoria after my surgery 2 weeks ago. Congratulations, Sleepy Fox. I'm glad for you. What's up, Lawrence? How's it going? We're chilling today. I don't really have any specific plans. We're just talking about whatever. Would you prefer sub through the website over the others if we have to choose? Yeah, so if you're donating to me directly, website, I don't actually think I've compared Patreon to the website, but basically like whatever PayPal fees normally apply, that's what happens when you subscribe through the website. And then on Patreon, it's a similarly like small portion that is taken for the payment processing fees. So either of those two options are great for me. It would be nice if we could ungender activities. It seems silly that working on a car must be masculine, etc. That's fair. I think it has to do with like what's required for it. So like you have to be strong in order to work on cars. You have to not be concerned about getting dirty if you work on cars. So like it's not just strictly like the activity of working on cars. It's, I think, kind of a whole framework around it. So But I agree in general that having fewer stupid barriers around who is allowed to do everything, who is allowed to do what, like, I understand that that's frustrating. Yes, Banana Brains, it was just for you. I re-uploaded the Hunger Games rant just because you asked me to, so I'm glad that you appreciated. If you guys don't know, this channel, Luxander Moss, is where I talk about politics and shit like that. And then on my second channel, Musing Moss, at Musing Moss here on YouTube, is where I talk about movies and TV and books that I've read, which is often coming at it from an angle of like there's a trans or a queer reading, or we're talking about politics in the same way that I'm sure a lot of you have seen like Jack Saint and other creators like Lindsay Ellis and stuff, who they look at a piece of media and deconstruct it through a political lens and kind of look at the, you know, the messages and everything. So that's kind of what I'm doing on Musing Moss. It's still a very tiny channel with not very many subscribers and views. So the more support that I get over there, the more I can talk about dumb shit like movies and not have to talk about politics and the constant and persistent erosion of my rights in this country. Would love to not have to talk about that very often. I'm also becoming an electrician, and it's really funny that electricians in particular get dunked on for being the, quote, most feminine of the trades. I thought that HVAC, but maybe that's just because I was an electrician, but like HVAC is supposed to be like the bitch boys of the of the trades. Like that HVAC wishes they were an electrician. I don't know. Anyway. But hey, listen, becoming an electrician, I want to say too, it's fucking hard. The reason why I'm not still an electrician is because it's fucking hard. Like physically, you sometimes run up into limitations where you just physically can't do it if you have a disability, which I do. So, or at least I'm getting it fucking diagnosed next week. OMG. Important question, cake or pie? I mean, they have such important applications in different contexts. I mean, like, I want to experience more of each of them. I feel like I haven't had enough different types of cake. You know, I watch like Johnny Cakes on YouTube and I'm like, wow, I have never had a cake that's like that. So, you know, I feel like I need more experience. Pie, I don't really like this. This is going to be a hilarious thing for my F word ass to say. I don't really like fruit pies very much. I don't really like fruit pie very much. There's something about like I'm not really a fan of like fruit in my desserts, but chocolate silk pie, delicious. Okay. Chocolate silk pie, amazing. Cheesecake, amazing. Cheesecake is a pie, by the way. Cheesecake is a pie. Cheesecake is delicious. So I don't know. It's just like you're in the different mood for different ones. Luxander, do you think if a Republican wins in 2028, the left should change any of its strategies to win? And if so, what strategies should we change? I think the Democrats already need to change their tactics. Like we just lost. Or do you mean, yeah, no, you are talking about the election for the presidency. So we just lost the presidency, and I have robust criticisms for the Democratic Party right now, for the midterms, much less for the next presidential election. Like, oh my fucking God. What it boils down to is Democrats need to stop trying to pull Republican voters. Republican voters are not usually going to swing to the Democrats. They're more likely to just not vote. If a Republican doesn't like the Republican candidate, they're not typically going to vote for the Democrat. They just won't vote. Okay, so they need to stop trying to get fucking Republicans to vote for them. There is no center in this country. There is no reason to ride the center if you're trying to get elected, especially as a fucking Democrat. We're in a hostage situation. And now I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to vote for the Democratic candidate no matter who it is. Okay, I moved to to Oregon, specifically because I know that Oregon is in danger of being a purple state and I want to help make sure it stays a blue state. So I brought myself and my 2 family members who are going to vote blue no matter fucking who. So I'll vote for goddamn Gavin Newsom if he's the fucking person, okay? Here's where the cussing has started. I'm going to vote for goddamn fucking Gavin Newsom if he's the guy, okay? But what we need to do is you can't just assume that every leftist... Thank you, I'll read that super chat in a second. You can't just assume that every leftist, like you're just guaranteed to get the far left vote as a Democratic candidate. You can't just make that assumption, because what they do is they make that assumption that like, oh, the super far left progressives, they're going to vote for us no matter what. So then they don't do anything to guarantee that they will get our vote. They don't try at all. They don't say, yeah, we need Medicare for all. They don't say we need a national healthcare system. They don't say, I mean, you know, any of the things that Zohran Mamdani was saying, when like Zohran Mamdani isn't even a hardcore leftist. Like he is on the left, but he is not a hardcore leftist. So even just that basic template of like, let's make the buses more robust and cheaper, and let's make childcare affordable or free, and let's, you know, restrict big business, and like all of these kind of very basic things, you just need to try to court the left literally at all, because what's happening here is like, it's like the ratchet theory of politics, that the Republicans are constantly pulling to the right. So the, you know, the Overton window, the window of acceptable policies and acceptable things to say in politics gets pulled further and further to the right, which is why we have a fascist government now. And the ratchet part, so like a ratchet works by like it ticks this way and then there's something that prevents it from ticking back the other way. The Democrats are the thing that's preventing the ratchet from pulling back to the left. So the Democrats, by trying so goddamn hard to court the right or to court centrists or whatever, are just preventing us from swinging at all back to the left. What we need is, yeah, exactly, Lawrence, UBI, living wage. We need literally anybody who can even pretend to pay lip service to those things, which Kamala was willing to do because Kamala was on the primaries. She dropped out pretty early on, right, during the 2020 primaries stuff. So she would at least say back then that she wanted Medicare for all. And like it's not even like a thing. She basically was like, no, I don't think it's a good idea now that I'm about to be the only person. There was no primary. We couldn't choose, whatever. So yeah, I think the Democrats need to try to literally at fucking all try to get leftist voters instead of just assuming that you'll get the leftist vote and then blaming the left entirely for your failure as a campaign. It's like, okay, and I understand it's a dire situation and that if you are on the left, you should vote for the Democratic candidate regardless. I truly believe that, especially if you live in a state where it matters. If you live in Alabama, I don't really give a shit if you want to have a protest vote as a leftist. I don't really care. But if you live in Pennsylvania or any other state that's purple or is at risk of going purple, if there's been fucked up redistricting, like you do need to fall in line in that way. But I don't think it's fair to just like blame the left for like, oh, you guys are doing the purity tests again. Like, how many children have you seen personally on the internet? Dead bodies from in Gaza. Like, I have seen the inside of a child's skull. I have seen a child being carried in parts in a plastic grocery bag. It's not a fucking purity test to be like, Gaza is a hard stop for me. So I understand frustrations on all sides here, where it's like, okay, we need to vote for her because otherwise we're going to have concentration camps here on U.S. soil. And I also understand like people who are like, they didn't even fucking bother to try to pretend. They did not even bother to try to pretend to like court the left at all. I also deeply resent the idea that, okay, so when I say vote blue no matter who, I am talking about after the primary season. During the primary season, I'm going to be very, very hardcore about who I like and who I don't like. Partially because I think it's effective for there to be someone here who's saying like, look, I fucking hate this candidate. I used to talk a bunch of shit on them. I still have all those same criticisms, and it's still better than having a fascist in. So when I say I vote blue no matter who, I don't mean like on the local level. I don't mean in the primaries. Like, I am a pragmatic harm reduction person. And also, I don't fucking think that it really matters, like, what happens on the... Ultimately, in the long term, I don't think it matters that much what happens on the federal level, but we should at least, like, try to stop some of the most insane bullshit. Like, you cannot tell me that we would be trying to annex Greenland with Kamala Harris as the president. You cannot tell me that there would be National Guard deployments, like a fucking Confederate army sent from Texas to Portland and LA. You cannot tell me that would be happening under Kamala Harris. So, like, I'm just saying, while the system exists the way that it does, we do actually have to, like, work within that until it falls apart by itself, which it probably will in, like, 15 years, right? So for me, how can we just, like, reduce the total number of death and suffering for the next 15 years before the global economy collapses? Go read the Limits to Growth report if you don't believe me. Limits to Growth 1972 from MIT. And in the meantime, voting is only something you do twice a year, right? Like you might have like some local stuff in May. Oh shit, yeah, somebody did a super chat earlier. I need to read it. Sorry, 1 second. You might only vote a couple times a year, but you will have all of the other days of the year where you need to fucking put in the work in your local community. And that's something that I'll hammer on until the day I fucking die. Thank you, Joshua Everett, for the $5 super earlier. Every year I buy a ton of Thin Mints from the local Girl Scout troop and crush them up for pie crusts. 'Tis delicious. First of all, that's amazing. Second of all, that is one of the ways that you can help locally. The Girl Scouts supports trans people. They, help young girls develop skills. The Girl Scouts and supporting them is an excellent way to contribute directly to your community. Keep your local economy strong. It's like support local businesses type thing, right? Fucking donate to the youth groups and shit. Thank you so much to the Behold Network for the $5 super chat saying, taking a moment to remind everyone to look up their local elections and vote in them. That's step one. Thanks for all you deluxe. Thank you. I appreciate you. Yeah. We really do need to, like, the federal stuff is important and you need to pay attention to it and you need to know who you're voting for. At the same time, stuff like local libraries. Libraries provide essential services in your community. And there might be issues where, like, the budget for the library is being looked at, is being reviewed. Maybe they're trying to levy a new tax so that the library can stay open for longer. And the library being open for longer means that homeless people have a place to sit and be warm or be in the air conditioning for an hour. It means that children can have somewhere to be after school if their parents are working late or working their second job. You have, like, the tool library at local libraries, the computer access. Imagine you're a homeless person and you're trying to apply for jobs. Well, it's really fucking hard to do if you don't have any internet. So you maybe take your phone, charge it at the library. Like, that's one thing in your community that you can contribute to. So voting to levy that tax and go get yourself a library card and occasionally go get a book from the library. Like, just interacting with that one thing in your community can make a huge difference for hundreds of people who live in your city. And that's just one thing. So, I'm just saying, don't discount the amount of impact that you can have is so much bigger on the local level than you think it is. And I cannot impart any stronger message upon you than to be involved in your local community. If you want to volunteer, that's great. But just as small a thing as reading up on your local elections, make sure you're paying attention in, like, May and August where there's, like, the other side elections and stuff. November is not the only important day of the year as far as voting goes, is what I'm trying to say. And if you're annoyed at the idea of like vote blue no matter who with the presidency, this is an allegory or a metaphor that kind of helped me be less annoying about it. That maybe you're taking the bus from one part of town to the other, and there's this one bus that will get you, it's not going to get you all the way to your destination, but it's going to get you about a half mile away from your destination, and then you only have to walk a half mile, which is like a 15-minute walk, right? And there's a different bus that's going to take you to a place that's like 3 miles away from your destination. Which bus are you going to take? I think the pretty obvious answer is you're going to take the bus that gets you closer to your destination. So Gavin fucking Newsom, I have so many criticisms of him, but he will get me closer to my destination. I can at least say that he's a piece of shit and not get fucking arrested for it. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to say that trans people and trans ideology is a terrorist group. He's not going to say that anti-Christian and anti-capitalist sentiment are terrorism, which is what Pam Bondi is trying to do with the FBI currently. We're just trying to get closer to the destination. I can be more effective under a Democratic president where I'm not worried about getting Gestapo'd versus like being under a Republican presidency, right? How much more effective would we be right now as a country if we were able to devote, okay, all this energy that's going toward literally fighting off ICE in our communities, that we're having to genuinely like take time off work or redistribute resources, like trying to protect people. Like I've seen community efforts where, for example, children of brown families getting off the bus, the school bus in their communities, and like white families going out and collecting those children and bringing them home. Because if the brown parents are standing on the sidewalk, they might get iced. Okay? So how much more energy could we be putting toward sustainability or improving our local communities if we weren't having to literally fight off an occupying army? There is a difference between Democrats and Republicans, even if it's frustrating that Democrats are often not doing what we want them to do or not doing enough, it feels like. So, speaking of homeless, I hope Naomi is okay. Yeah, I haven't heard from her since last year. And she just deleted her GoFundMe, so like the one thing that we were able to do to help, I don't really know what's going on with her. It sucks. I feel like this metaphor is more like you're forced to get on a bus anyway. One probably won't get you closer, but one will definitely get you further away than the other. If you're being dragged into it anyway, might as well not waste the ability to have a say in it. True. Like, at least have a say in it. At least have the option to weigh in, because you're on the bus regardless. The government calling us gender ideologists is so wild and dehumanizing. And I'm just scared and sad. We just want to live. Yeah. I don't want to live in a country where I feel scared all the time. I'm also not psyched about living in a country where I feel like my life is on the line every 4 years, but that is the situation that we're in. And I don't know about you, but I don't really have it in me to emigrate to another country right now. I don't really want to. I really love where I live. I already fucking moved 2,000 miles away from where I was born in order to be in a safer place. But man, that family I've told you guys about, the trans family who lived in Texas and they moved to France, I am so jealous right now. Because they're like, we didn't even used to share this kind of stuff before, but the level of like daily hate and like daily aggression and like people leaving threatening things on our porch and stuff like that back in Texas versus like the absolute fucking relief of living in France, where people might look at them and they might even point out like, oh, hey, those are transgenders in French. They feel welcome, they feel calm, they feel relaxed. The children are clearly relaxing. It's clean. There's robust public transit. Like, there's all these beautiful historical buildings, and there are protections against transvestigation. Like, this is an insane thing that I didn't know about, but in France, you cannot publicly speculate on someone being trans because it's considered their private medical information. So it's like similar to like a HIPAA violation. It's not exactly the same. I'm just trying to contextualize it with a similarity so that you'll kind of get what I mean. But some people were transvestigating I think like the prime minister's wife or something, and that's like a jail. That's 6 months of jail. That's not even like a civil thing. It's not a fine. It's fucking jail. So like the level of relief that I imagine you would have in a country like France, like, I cannot imagine. And like I said, I'm deeply envious of the fact that but it was fucking expensive, and they had the ability. They had like a house that they were able to sell to like put money toward their next thing, and like they both have really good jobs and everything. So it's not easy to do. But my God, is it tempting. I took 3 years of French. I could boot that part of my brain back up. I just don't know if my partner would be on board, right? It was like, he was very, very open to the idea of moving up here to the Pacific Northwest, because he's like, oh, I've always wanted to live up there. But like, could I convince my partner to move across an ocean with me? I don't actually know. We have our first therapy session today. Isn't that exciting? Wow. I think I'll talk about it more on Patreon later. Lux ugly. Is that even a thing that can happen? I have a big old fat fucking acne on my nose right now, and earlier I had like my face was all the impressions of wearing my N95, so I felt a little bit like less cute than usual, but it's cool. Lux, come to Ireland with me. The temptation is real. My friend also posted that apparently like Italy has some of the most relaxed immigration laws as far as if you're going off of ancestry. So if you have any Italian ancestry, then apparently immigrating to Italy is super easy. And then once you're a citizen of the European Union, then you can go live in any of those countries, basically. So yeah, tempting, quite tempting. Mama says, not everyone votes pragmatically, unfortunately. When Democrats take stances that are unpopular with the base, it inherently means losing votes. The genocide in Gaza is the prime example of that. When Dem sycophants stop us from criticizing their objectively bad strategy, they pave the way for Democrat failure. So keep on purity testing the Dems, even if you plan to vote blue no matter who, because it will objectively help them win. Right. And like I said, I do think there is a benefit to being able to say, look, I really don't like a lot of things about this candidate, and I'm still going to vote for them. I'm still going to throw my weight around. I'm still going to take what is it? How many people are here? The 100 or so people who are here right now. I'm going to tell you all that you should vote for Gavin fucking Newsom if he's the guy. Even though I'm critical of him, right? Like, I don't think that that's devoid of value. Now, I have had people disagree with me on that. Yeah, the site chat was not loading for me either, weirdly. I mean, it's like loading on the page, but it's not loading when I try to pop it out. So I ended up having to pop out my YouTube chat. Anyway, welcome, Gayfesh. It's been really good to hang out with you more recently. Like, we watched the Star Trek Starfleet Academy show. We watched a couple episodes of that last night, and it was a lot of fun. And it made me feel really good to get to talk to my friends a little bit. And probably going to keep watching more movies stuff soon. I also really hope that Gavin does not get to the general vote. Honestly, I would rather have Pritzker. I would rather have a literal fucking billionaire who has the balls to stand up to Trump and who isn't doing this dumb social media strategy of copying Donald Trump's style. Ugh. I hear the phrase vote for the lesser of two evils, and I'm like, why are any of our politicians evil to begin with? Yes. Wyleaf's been having routing issues in the PNW. Vaush had the same issue the other day. Okay. And I know that, like, there's been the solar activity, the solar radiation activity, so there's been some, like, internet hiccups and stuff recently. I'm expanding my job search to include Canada because this administration actually destroyed the academic job market in the biomedical field. Truly. Yeah, go to a country that actually values biomedical sciences. Yeah, I don't want to live in fucking Canada. I literally would rather move to France than live in Canada. I don't know why. Would you vote for Jon Stewart? Listen, he's not going to run. If Jon Stewart, comedian and entertainer Jon Stewart, got all the way to the general election, if he got over the primary hurdle and got all the way to the general election, of course I would vote for him. I just said I would vote for whoever's the Democrat regardless. But I did just put out a video criticizing Jon Stewart for making fun of people who are still masking. I wear an N95 mask every time I leave my house for any reason, even if I'm doing something outdoors. But like I would get, you guys gotta understand, like, if I was a single issue voter on that, I would not be able to vote for anyone. But it is a huge priority for me for politicians to give a shit about masking, because COVID is still killing 100,000 Americans per year. It has disabled millions of people and is continuing to disable millions of people. So I really wish that there was any such thing as a candidate. Like, 0% of our elected officials at the federal level wear a mask on a regular basis. Like, you think you feel unrepresented as a leftist, if you feel unrepresented as someone who supports trans rights, if you feel unsupported and unrepresented as a person who wants Medicare for all, imagine having 0% of your elected officials taking any level of precautions around COVID as a person who's disabled and COVID conscious. And like, I did a talk on the Patreon for the Line. We do our little LineCon thing once a month. And back in November, I did a talk for 20 solid minutes explaining how COVID impacts marginalized communities more. Like, you are more likely to become permanently disabled with long COVID if you are trans or a woman or Black or any of those. And so this is an issue of marginalization. Like, disease is a tool of cis heteropatriarchy. Like, disease, you know, in the fact, like, we white colonialists poisoned a bunch of Native Americans by giving them smallpox. Like, disease is a tool of this hegemonic power structure. And it is currently being used as a tool of that hegemonic power structure. And the people in power don't give a shit, because the people in power are, for the most part, white men who are literally less likely to be permanently harmed by it, but also who think that they're fucking immune from being harmed by it. We do not... Okay, I want you guys to understand. When you have HIV, it takes 10 to 12 years of having HIV untreated for you to develop AIDS, which is the immune deficiency where you usually end up ultimately dying from some opportunistic infection. So it depletes your immune system, and then you end up catching the flu, and then you die from the flu because your body is physically not capable of fighting it off. COVID damages the immune system in a very similar way to HIV. Guess what, guys? It's only been 6 years. It's only been 6 years. But we are already seeing immune damage similar to an AIDS, just so you don't know. So human immunodeficiency virus, that's HIV. AIDS is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Acquired, meaning it develops immunodeficiency, and then syndrome is like a collection of symptoms. You might be able to have an acquired immune deficiency from COVID. It's only been 6 years. But the difference is that we're catching multiple strains of COVID multiple times per year. Many infections are asymptomatic or have like relatively fewer symptoms. People are already dying AIDS-like deaths from COVID immune deficiency damage. So when I say we have no fucking idea how bad it's going to get, we have no fucking idea how bad it's going to get. Wear a mask, babes. Get vaccinated. Here's another tip. Betadine nasal spray. Just like a little backup, you know, if you're going to be indoors in a like crowded place and you're wearing a mask and you're still worried about it. That's one thing that you can do. Backup. Chat is so active today, by the way. I hope that none of you are feeling like left out or anything, that I'm not reading every single comment. We are now reaching a point with my streams where I cannot respond to every single comment. So I don't want you to feel bad if like you want my attention and I'm just missing it. Also, I keep going on these rants where I'm not even reading the chat because I can't read and talk at the same time. But I really appreciate everybody for hanging out here and for being patient with me. It surprised me to see that masks are still very common in blue areas. Here you might see one person like once a week wearing a mask, but it's almost like coming back into style again, even in the conservative fortresses. We're coming out of like the worst flu season we've had in years, and I know that hospitals are implementing it again now. I hope it comes back in style. It's been a huge problem that people complain about the optics of masking, like that it makes you look like a fuddy-duddy. Listen, I go bowling. I wear a mask. Okay? The one thing I don't do is eat indoors at restaurants, and I really think that you all need to examine why you feel the need to cosplay having a servant. That's like one of the things that I have come after stopping going to restaurants. Like, why do I feel the need to cosplay having a servant who brings me my food and tells me how great I am? Like, why do you feel the need to do that? You can order pickup, or I guess like at the work, like eat outdoors at the work. I don't know. Regardless, that's the one thing I don't do. But I would go to a wedding wearing a mask. What have I done wearing? I went to a concert wearing a mask. Not a big deal. I'm not saying like don't have fun and don't go anywhere. I'm just saying wear a fucking mask. Like, ideally a real, like an actual respirator, like an N95 or KN95 and not one of the floppy baggy paper ones. But yeah, anyway, we need COVID burkas. Yeah. Hey, YouTuber Grudge, congratulations on your 3 years of sobriety. That's really tough. I'm doing dry January right now. I guess technically we broke it. Our friend came over and was like, hey, I wanted to surprise you by bringing you this beer. It's very similar to a beer that we used to drink back when we lived in the Midwest. So we did kind of break our dry January, but I figured it was acceptable. So, like, I still hang out with my friends. I still drink with my friends. You wear a mask and then you pull it down and you take a drink and then you put your fucking shit back on. Anyway. I think there are some restaurants where eating there is part of the experience, but like I still look at them askew right now. Yeah, I don't know. It's like one of those unnecessary pleasures that's like, it's expensive to go out at a restaurant. You're endangering a service worker. I don't know. In general, I just think that it's super unnecessary. Like, maybe there will be some occasions where I'm less judgmental about it. Like if I were to do a super duper, hold on. If I wanted to do a super duper fancy dinner, I don't know. I could conceivably see a time where like on an anniversary, I might go eat in an outdoor restaurant or reserve a room or something, but like I don't know. I even outside of the COVID thing, I struggle with it a little bit now. You just talked about Jon Stewart and your short popped up on my homepage. Listen, I had some valid criticisms, I thought. See, I don't understand this mentality at all. Jiffy Pop Tart says, that's a great name, by the way, says, I feel like having had COVID 3 confirmed times by now, I'm not too worried about exposure anymore. Nothing was worse than having a child in grade school. I was sick for 6 straight years. See, I don't understand that mentality of like, maybe it's that you don't know the information that I know. I feel like if I could just take everything I know about COVID and beam it directly into your brains, you would feel compelled the same way I feel to avoid getting it at all costs. Like COVID, just pick the scariest medical event that you can think of, and COVID will probably do that to you. Like, did your dad have a massive heart attack at age 55? Because COVID could cause you to have a massive heart attack in your 30s. Are you like terrified of getting cancer and not knowing about it until it's stage 4? Well, COVID is oncogenic. It's causing cancer, and it's causing cancer to reemerge in people who've already been cleared of cancer. Are you worried about losing your mind? Well, COVID is associated with an increased risk of dementia. Let's see, what else is there? Are you worried about having a stroke? COVID increases your risk of stroke, including at young ages. Let's see. What's another one? Are you worried about... So do you see those stories about how people with diabetes have to ration their insulin because insulin is so expensive? And like that there are a number of people in this country who have died because they couldn't afford their insulin for their diabetes? Well, COVID can give you diabetes. So like I could go on. That's what the 20-minute talk on the line was about. I could literally go on for 30 minutes about all the fucked up things that COVID can do. Are you scared of AIDS? Because COVID can give you something like AIDS. And the damage is cumulative. Have you ever considered the idea that your heart could develop scarring on it? Because COVID causes people to develop scarring on their heart, even if they have a very mild case or an asymptomatic case. And like I said, the damage is cumulative. The damage continues to pile on top of itself over time. And also, you should be advocating for better air purification and filtration in schools. I've been considering recently, like, I think I want to have a baby. I think I want to do that. Partially because of this, because like all of these people are going to have long-term damage from COVID. And I genuinely feel like a compulsion to the human race, like a responsibility to the human race to have a baby who is not going to have all that damage in its body. Like, that's part of it. But I'm sitting here thinking like I would have to homeschool that kid because there's no way that I'm sending them to that I'm going to consign them to the oh my God, I'm having trouble finding the word for this, but I'm not going to condemn that child to have long COVID because children get long COVID at about the same rate that adults do. Like there's no way I'm going to put a child through having COVID over and over again. So I would have to homeschool. There's no way. Oh yeah, Lena Langton, you're joking? You said COVID can make your dick fall off. Just saying. But actually, because COVID is a cardiovascular disease, it can cause erectile dysfunction and infertility. So if you're worried about your dick, like, yeah, you should avoid catching COVID. Like, oh my fucking God. Just pick a thing in your body that you don't want to happen to you, and there's a pretty good chance that COVID will fuck up that thing for you. Mama says, to be frank, if you could beam any information directly into my head, I would probably feel compelled to obey just because you have telepathic abilities and I ain't about to fuck around and find out. Yeah, oh my gosh. How do you feel about having kids with climate change accelerating? So here's the thing. I moved to the Pacific Northwest because Oh my God, we're doing this again. I feel like I do this every stream right now. So I'm sorry if you're regularly here and you're annoyed by the fact that I keep doing this. Oh my God, why are you doing this to me? The fuck is wrong with you right now? Okay. So here's the deal. I moved to the Pacific Northwest because it is going to be one of the least impacted areas. Here's where I moved. I moved to this part of the world, the Willamette Valley. So I live near Portland. I moved here because of this. This is from ProPublica. If you just look up like ProPublica climate migration on Google, these are the maps. So this is like wildfires are going to increase in these areas, including like this area where I used to live in Kansas City. These are going to be the number of days where the temperature is so high that you're not capable of cooling yourself down if you're outdoors. So like that's going to get, oh, hold on, wait, which, is this not the wildfires one? What is this one? Oh, this is just like extreme temperatures. So how many times of the year are we going to have extreme temperatures? Sorry, I got goofed. This is the wildfires one. So there's going to be increased wildfires. Look at that. Hey, look at that. Largely not so much in the Willamette Valley in the Portland area. This map is of flooding. So like, are you going to be in an area where there's more flooding or not? And like increased sea level rise. Crop yields, which areas are going to lose in the purple or gain in the green? Agricultural output. So like obviously these places down south, and like this right here should fucking scare you in a global sense because, or I guess at least in the national sense, because like Kansas, Oklahoma, these are areas where lots of fucking farmland is. I know everybody complains about, like, oh, it's flyover country. There's nothing really going on there except like a shit ton of your corn and soybeans growing here. The purple means that they're not going to be able to grow crops there much anymore, or like less at least, versus like places with the green where agricultural output is actually going to increase because those areas are warming, but they're not warming in a dangerous way. Hey, look at that. The Willamette Valley going to be green, increased agricultural output. This is economic damage from the climate, just like places where they're actually, it's interesting. There is going to be some amount of climate damage in this area. But so this is kind of like the decision-making thing for me. And I do want to, I wish I had a global map of this type stuff because I'm curious about like Europe, like France, for example. So in terms of like, am I worried about the future for my children? Like I specifically moved somewhere where I would be content with the long-term issues. Yeah, so I speak really passionately about this, and I'm sorry if anybody feels judged or anything. I'm sorry if it feels alarmist to you, any of the COVID or the climate conversation, but like, I am very much a person who just wants to know proportionally how freaked out I should be about something. I wish that when I go and Google like COVID full recovery. There is like less documentation of COVID full recovery than there is of COVID long-term damage accumulating, even if you don't know about it. So like, I genuinely just want people to be able to take proportional action as things are getting worse. If you're worried about condemning a child to possibly dealing with long COVID, are you also not worried about the other like myriad lifelong complications that one can wind up with? Well, it's like all about relative risk, right? Like I have a connective tissue disorder, probably. I'm in the process of getting that diagnosed. My partner also has some symptoms of hypermobility and connective tissue issues. So it's likely that if I have a kid with my current partner, that kid would have those issues. And like we would need to be on top of that. But the comparative difference between like the pretty much like a guarantee that my child's brain will rot out their like flow out of their ears like liquid after multiple COVID infections, like it's like a guarantee that if I expose a child to COVID over and over again, that they will develop long COVID and be permanently disabled in a way where they will not recover. Versus like with hypermobility or anything else that could happen like obviously a kid could get hit by a car and lose their legs. Like, right? We're talking about relative risk. So like in terms of what is likely to happen, if I send my kid to public school and they get sick with COVID over and over and over again, that is going to open them up to opportunistic infections. It's going to open them up to potential early onset dementia, randomly having a heart attack or a stroke. Like it's basically like a guarantee. Like I said, if you catch COVID over and over again, that you will be permanently disabled. It's like a 1 in 10 chance. So, or like up to a 1 in 5 chance per infection. So if you catch COVID twice a year, which you can, because there are multiple different strains, and your immunity, I don't think that you remain immune from COVID for as long as you remain immune from like the flu. So like with the flu, you get 1 flu shot annually, but with COVID, you really should get 2 annually because your immunity goes away after like 6 months, or it drops after like 6 months. So if you catch COVID twice a year and you do that every year for 5 years, if there's a 1 in 10 chance of you getting long COVID, then you've just hit that 1 in 10. Like you're very likely over the course of 5 years for at least one of those infections to permanently disable you. So like I'm just a conduit for the information. Bye, Mabs. Have fun out there. Mama says, Lux, you talk about climate change and how it's dooming the human race to massive death and catastrophe, but have you considered how important it is that big manly men start wars over oil? You're not thinking about the feelings of the neocon warmongers. Oh, you know what? I'm so sorry. I forgot about the big dick swinging contest and the pissing contest. I forgot about how these big, strong men need to feel big and strong. You're right. I'm so sorry. I forgot. It's very important that we start a war with Venezuela right now. I forgot. Oh my God, I don't need to be wearing this on my wrist. It's uncomfortable. Do you ever put a hair tie on your wrist and then later you realize like, ow, that really hurts? Want to know more COVID horror? My university lost funding for COVID-related psychology research. Nice. That's very exciting. Oh, because here's another thing that, like, in addition to everything else that's wrong about COVID, how many people have I lost? We still have like 100 people here. Wow, that's crazy. Thank you for letting me evangelize to you about how you should be taking precautions. So in addition to everything else that I've said about the health impacts of COVID, there is also the issue of just brain fog in general. So, you know, if you're concerned about, you know how airplanes... You know how Boeing, you know how the airplanes right now? Can you imagine if everybody who is building all of the parts for airplanes and everybody who is doing quality inspection for the airplanes and everybody who is a pilot and everybody who is an air traffic controller is having memory issues and trouble sleeping? What's going to happen to society if everybody who is responsible of working on like nuclear power plants has brain fog? We are looking down the barrel of like the end of society as we know it. And that was already the case. And like, again, if you feel like I'm making shit up or fear mongering, the Limits to Growth report from 1972 from MIT, which that research was revisited as recently as 2020, shows that we are on track for the worst case scenario economic model, where we continue to prioritize economic growth over every other thing, over every other potential priority, which means that like the global economy is likely to slow and stop growing by like 2030, 2035, and then drop. Oh, hold on.
Shiloh gifted 5 Tier 1 subscriptions. Do you have any recommendations on places to order quality masks in bulk?
I feel like I had a tab open for that for quite some time, and I may have finally deleted it because I was like, I'm not looking into it. I look at MaskBlock, MaskBloc. Personally, I just buy the box of like 40 Aura masks for 3M Aura masks, which is like expensive. But I know that there are sources for bulk purchases. I just don't have the I don't have the. Did I bookmark it? Let me check if I bookmarked it. Okay, I don't think I did save it, unfortunately. That was very silly of me. Yeah, like I say, I just buy the big boxes of 3M Aura N95s. That's my thing. Can you post a link to that report? I feel so affronted when I say the full name of a report and people still ask me to link it for them. Like the Limits to Growth Report 1972 there's a Wikipedia page for it. You can literally just Google it. If I provide you a link, I'm going to literally just Google it and then copy paste it. I find this really irritating. Sorry. The Limits to Growth Report 1972 MIT. It's also printed in a book. You can buy it in a book if you want, but also you can read about it on Wikipedia. Oh, somebody just did the tier 1 sub. Thank you so much. I don't know why the message went away. Hold on, what did you say? Not being able to sleep wears down your immune system. I've heard that. Lucia says, I go to the nearby emergency room, pick up a mask in the waiting room, and then leave as a broke college student. Damn, yeah. Lux, they're not waiting for the COVID brain fog. They want to give all these important jobs to AI, which will get the same stupid result faster. That's fucking true. Okay, why? Okay, here we go. Oh yeah, you asked me if I have any recommendations for places to buy masks in bulk. Yeah, no, I don't have any recommendations right now. I apologize. If anybody was having issues getting on the website chat earlier, luxander.net/live, it seems to be working better for me now. So you all can check that. Do we have a random I love Gur? Hold on. Hold on. Really quick. I might not find what I'm about to try to find, but I'm gonna refill my water and then I'm gonna grab something real quick. Don't go anywhere. I'm back. Don't leave me. I'll cry. Did someone just say I love Gur? I love Gur? Somebody needs a hug. Aw, somebody needs a hug. I have a I've had this for like 17 years. Anyway, thank you for the distraction. That was lovely. That was lovely. Shop MedVet might have some masks in bulk. That is a good recommendation. I appreciate that I can just rant at you guys for like a solid hour and a half, and you're all here to hang out. Thank you. Listen, if you hit the like button, we might get even more people in here to listen to me rant. It's quick, it's easy, it's free. I appreciate the donations. Okay, that was 5 gifted tier 1 subs. Let me actually add that to the donation goal. That brings us up to $85 today. Our goal is to reach $100, at which point we will open the treasure chest, which is right there, basking in the blue light. That's a fun little thing we do. There's a treasure chest, and I put stuff in there. Or stuff materializes in there. It's kind of a combination of both. Oh, Bloody Hatter, that's so fucking true. I always need a hug, but I also have deep-seated scars and am typically not hug-friendly. It's a rough balance. Yeah. I have my, like, one person who I'm willing to get hugs from. And, like, I adopted my younger sibling, and sometimes I'm like, maybe I should hug them more often. And I'm like, but I don't want to. But then also, like, I have a lot of conflict with my partner, so sometimes I'm like, I don't want to fucking touch anybody. Favorite martial D&D class? Martial meaning like non-magical, right? I'm partial to monk / fighter. I think rogue. But also I've never really played D&D, so my frame of reference on this is more like World of Warcraft than it is D&D. So yeah, for me it's rogue. You're doing Jimmy's like button enunciation. That's because I love Jimmy. He's my friend. Emma! True. Emma says, don't forget to hydrate, chat. That's so true. I had to run a lot of annoying errands this morning, including having my blood stolen. So I had a boba tea earlier. And it was so good. Oh my god, you guys. It was delicious. And I got the tapiocas. What even is the point of boba without a tapioca? I realize I left the Jimmy thing hanging. I love Jimmy. He's one of my best friends, and you take on the traits of people that you like. So that's probably part of why I say button. Go fuck yourself, Jimmy. True. I got so confused because recently people were posting GFJ. So go fuck yourself, Jimmy. GFYJ. But then it was just GFJ, and I was like, what the fuck does that mean? It means gay for Justin, because that's a Justin deconstruction zone thing. D&D mentioned Pavlovian response initiated. You can get N95 masks for below 30 cents each. Cool. I don't know where. But I have like my preference, and this is something where I put more money into it than I probably need to, because I specifically like the 3M Aura N95s, like, because there's an issue with N95s where sometimes they don't fit people with a smaller head, and I have kind of like a small head, so, and I do have to wear it like all the way up here on my nose because of I have a deviated septum, which I need to be evaluated for, because I would really love to be able to fucking breathe. Dude, that's a whole thing. If I get septoplasty, am I not going to be allowed to wear a mask? I might have to get some masks that are like sticky. I actually think I have some. I have some N95s that are like, they're sticky on the edges, like with adhesive, instead of holding onto your face with a piece of metal or by being like pulled onto your face with an elastic band. But yeah, that's a whole thing. Like, how am I gonna get surgery on my nose and still wear a mask? That's crazy. Button is objectively funny though. Calacia uses that too. I don't even notice when it's not like on purpose. Ready mask. I think that's the one, Thistle. Ready mask. The ones that like stick. If you get nose work, I would not recommend wearing a normal mask. It's like, how am I going to like leave the surgery theater, right? Like, I want to get a nurse and be like, nurse, I am putting my life in your hands. Please put this sticky mask all over my nose before you wheel me out of the surgery theater. Because there's going to be a period of time where I'm like waking up from anesthesia and don't have any control over this. And it fucking terrifies me that I might catch COVID because I'm literally getting the breathing part of my face fixed. Ugh. Emma says, I've heard PPE.com is good for big orders of masks, but I'm not as aware of US suppliers because I'm in the UK. Probably that's like a good place. Like, I would look on Reddit. Probably if I was like, where do I buy bulk masks? I would be like, bulk N95 masks Reddit. And ask people. Yeah, okay, there's r/masks for all. Where somebody has asked this question multiple times. Affordable and reusable N95 masks, looking for masks. Where can I order masks in bulk? That's what I would do. Because Reddit's like a forum for, collective knowledge. I don't know why we're talking about butts, but I appreciate it. I like big butts, and I cannot lie. We were watching White Chicks. I asked my partner to watch a movie with me, and we watched White Chicks because I want to talk about it for the Musing Moss channel. Is COVID coming back or something? It never went away. It's killing 100,000 Americans per year, and it has disabled millions of Americans, and it's not going away, and it peaks 4 times a year. This is the other thing. People are like, whatever, it's just endemic now, in the same way that the Spanish flu became endemic. Well, guess what, bitch? We only have the Spanish flu come around like once a year, and then it dies down to like almost zero in between the seasons where it comes around. But COVID has 4 giant peaks every year. There's one in like December, January. There's one around like March, April. There's another one in like June, July. Sometimes the July one lasts all the way until like September. And then we circle back around again to, So there's like 4 peaks, and at no point between those peaks does it drop down anywhere close to the level that the seasonal flu drops down to. So fucking get with it. What was I saying? White Chicks. We were watching White Chicks, and there was a scene where they're going shopping, and one of the women like turns to walk up a set of stairs, and she's wearing like a short skirt, and I was like, her ass is hanging out of that skirt. And my husband, who's like a mostly straight dude, was like, I too noticed that. It was pretty funny. Mask Blocks distribute masks for free too. IDK, where in Oregon you are, but I met one in Eugene while my band was on tour there. Yes, Mask Block is something else that I would Google if I was trying to get them for free. I just spend money on them though. I go to Home Depot and I buy a big fucking box of masks. It's probably like one of the more expensive things that you could do. Tis good ass, high quality ass. I kind of want to get back into posting on my Fansly, because it's like an OnlyFans, but it's Fansly, and I post on there not very often, partially because I'm just not feeling super sexy about myself right now. But I like the idea of posting more on there, and I only post fully clothed. I think the most revealing I've done was like I pulled up my shirt and showed off like the bra that I had just bought. But I only do like safe for work kind of like, or at least like clothed posts on there. But I do like the idea of being like, my ass is the biggest it's ever been. Let's put that ass in some booty shorts, Let's do it. By the way, if you want to put your ass in some booty shorts, you can go to my merch store linked down below. I think it's luxander-shop.fourthwall.com. I need to put a custom link on there. But yeah, you can get booty shorts. Mama Mephistopheles can vouch. She bought a pair of booty shorts. Did you end up posting any pictures of the, like, I know that you used to do, didn't you? Do you used to post sexy stuff for money? Because that's a hell of an advertisement. I should send some to Addie. Ooh, I should ask Adeline Gray because I think that they're really cool. Like, I just think that she's a cool person. Like, that would be some advertisement. Like, listen, Addie, if I send you some booty shorts, will you wear them in some of your porn content? Because that would be kind of cool. Anyway, smooth segue to the booty shorts. Listen, I am nothing if not an entrepreneur. I have Tranarchy booty shorts. And look at. Luxander-shop.fourthwall.com. Look at that. They're right on the front page. You go to luxandershop.fourthwall.com and boom, right there. Booty shorts. Tranarchy booty shorts. Look at that. Damn. Isn't that crazy? Or you can get a hoodie just like this one. That's like the most expensive thing I have in my store because it's a premium hoodie and it's super comfy and it has a giant Tranarchy symbol on it. Anyway. I know I can't make the logo much bigger. Like I would love to put it spanning across both butt cheeks, but because of the way that these are designed, there's like a seam on the butt. Trust me, I tried to make it bigger. Mama says, I posted a thirst trap the other day in my big baggy dyke cargo pants and my butt still looked fine. The gym works, people. True. Yeah. What about plus size spinny skirt? I don't think spinny skirt is an option. I don't know that I can put... the way that this works is like I use Fourth Wall and they have a bunch of distributors and manufacturers that they work with. So I can choose from like a list of products. So like I can choose, they have like, 8 different t-shirts that I could choose from. And so I choose the t-shirt that I think is going to be the highest quality and also a reasonable price. And then I put my logo on it and then I set my prices for it, So I am limited somewhat by what they actually carry. So I don't know if they have any spinny skirts. I don't know if they have any skirts, actually. I'm not opposed to only fannings my feet. I've thought about that too. But I also do think that I think if you start posting feet, that it's hard for people who don't like feet to want to watch your content. I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things where once you get into that niche, it's hard to get out of it. And I don't want to alienate like the 95% of people who think that feet are kind of gross. Like if I'm watching porn personally, if I'm like, yo, I'm going to watch some porn and they're doing normal porn stuff and I'm like, yeah, this is great. And then suddenly somebody's feet are touching someone else's genitals. I'm like, I can't with this. I don't even want to skip past this part to see if something else happens that I do want to. Like, I'm going to get out of my face with that. Feet are not my deal. It's not my bag, baby. Jiffy Pop-Tart asks, as someone who uses gender-neutral pronouns, which positive adjectives do you prefer to be called? Handsome, beautiful, stunning, etc. Well, so first of all, I find it a little bit awkward because, girl, I'm married. So when people are like, OMG, I have such a crush on Lux. They're so beautiful. I'm like, ew, a little bit. Like, no thanks. But I mean, I guess like stunning is gender neutral. We're going to go with that. Like, I prefer comments on things that I have more control over. If you're like, OMG, your hair is so pretty today, I'll be like, OMG, thank you. I don't know. I'm really uncomfortable with compliments is something that I'm learning about myself. I'm not as uncomfortable as like Forrest is uncomfortable with compliments, but it is like a little weird to receive them because I don't know how to practice. I'm not good at practicing gratitude in general. You know, like, and when people donate money and I'm like, wow, thank you, OMG, like, I don't know how to respond to that. So when I compliments, I'm like, it's a similar, like, OMG, thank you. I don't know how to respond to that. You just make a feet only folder. Can I make a feet only folder on like my Fansly? Okay, I guess that's an option. Or like non-explicitly sexual, like if the feet are just in the picture, but that's not like the focal point of the picture, maybe that's something I should do. I don't know. Slaying is gender neutral. Yeah, slay. Not compliments from me or randos, but how about your partner? They must compliment you. We're starting couples therapy. Yeah, I don't really want to get into it. Like I said, I might post on my Patreon a little update about that specifically, because I feel like I used to update my Patreon. I mean, I fucking moved out a couple years ago, and then after like 9 months, I moved back in. And I think that a lot of my Patreon vlogs at that time were kind of about that situation. And then I've kind of since then stopped posting about it as much, but I feel like part of what you pay for on Patreon is a personal connection to the creator. And if that's one of the big things going on in my life, then maybe I should post about it sometimes. But, yeah. Compliments are not something I'm accustomed to receiving on a regular basis. And I'll put it that. Viren says, when I was 9, I had surgery to increase the range of motion of my ankles. This put me in a wheelchair for months, and my legs were wrapped in cast, and that experience has forever ruined feet for me. No shot. Okay, this is very funny. It reminds me of House of the Dragon. Some minor spoilers for House of the Dragon. There's a character who has a club foot, and I think it was invented for the show, and it was not in the book. I mean, to be fair, a lot of detail was needed to fill in, because the book is like a historical document and not an actual novelization. But the character who has a club foot has a foot fetish. And like, I feel like that's so on the nose. I don't know. It's like, how do people with foot fetishes feel about that? And also, how do people with foot deformities feel about that? It's so weird. Like, you don't really expect foot fetishes to come up in your fantasy media, but that's the situation that we're in. Yes, that's absolutely true. It's hard to get comfortable with compliments when you didn't really receive them growing up. Okay, so here's the thing. I was rewarded. I don't know that complimented is the right word, but I was rewarded for things like getting good grades. So as an adult, I get a lot of validation from working hard and getting like high reward from that. So yeah, if it like I went to college to do my technical degree to be an electrician, and I got like all A's in that, and I was like, fuck yeah, and I got a lot of validation from that. And so now I'm working, and I'm working a lot, and I'm making decent money, and my coworkers all seem to like me well enough. So I'm getting like almost all of my positive validation from working, which is this right here. So when you guys compliment me, that's me going, look at my childhood trauma. I'm getting rewarded. I don't know. Unrelated, but thanks a lot, because I'm in the process of finding my style. So I'm looking at which shops you go to for your wish list, because I guess they are not bad. So I actually do. So I'm going to be completely legit with you. I have this wish list via Throne instead of having a public Amazon wish list, because sometimes with a public Amazon wish list, there are issues with your address potentially getting leaked. So I decided to make a wish list on Throne. I probably should add a profile picture and stuff. But anyway, it's at Luxander, throne.com/Luxander. And I just kind of added some random shit. And I don't actually know if any of these are from good companies. I didn't really check. Some of this stuff is like from Amazon that I just posted over here. But like the shop, like Rags and Rituals, this is Chinese stuff. And it's often too small for me to wear. So even though I tried to order like a large, I have this like halter top thing that someone bought for me recently, and I can't wear it because it's like choking me out. So I could not possibly tell you that these are actually from a good company or anything. So please don't take that as an endorsement or indication that this is a good company. It's cheap Chinese shit as far as I can tell. But I'm just like, for funsies, if anybody, I'll wear them on stream if they fit me, or maybe I'll make sexy pictures on Fansly with them. But you know what I really do want? Maybe I should go ahead and update this. I really want this fucking Lord of the Rings Lego set, and it's almost $500. And I think maybe I need to switch it to be like this camera. So this camera, I really want this camera for work purposes. And there's a crowdfunding option where maybe you can't buy me $1,000 camera, but you can pitch $20 toward the camera. And I kind of think maybe I should turn that on for the Lord of the Rings thing. Can I pump this? Can I say, hey, my birthday's in March, and this is the only thing I want for my birthday. Please help me get this fucking giant Lego set that I really want. This is like one of the most pieces of any Lego set. It's how many pieces are in this Lego set? 5,471 pieces in this Lego set. I want it so bad. Anyway. I have personal confusion between admiration, attraction, and envy. I figure, like, since I'm ace, it's usually mostly harmless, but I don't want to make folks uncomfortable. I feel like that's an autism thing, right? Or maybe it's like just a not receiving good attention as a child thing. But I have found in the past that, like, I think I'm attracted to someone, and then we, you know, start thinking or talking about actually doing sex, and I'm like, ugh, gross, actually. So yeah, I do feel like I have a little bit of confusion around that. Buy the Lego, put it on camera as part of the set. Business deduction, bam. I don't actually make enough money to do itemized deductions. It doesn't make sense for me to take itemized deductions when I could just take the standard deduction. So yeah, at some point in the future, possibly. If you get that Lego set, you should build the thing on stream. I think I would have to clear my entire desk. I don't think I would have room for anything on my desk. That's an excellent concept, though. It's not just autism. Even in psych research, envy is often conflated with jealousy. No, that's not what I meant. I didn't mean envy getting confused with jealousy. I meant, like, not being able to tell whether you're attracted to someone or not. Because I've heard that that's a thing with autism, where you're like, I don't know if I want to fuck this person or if I just think they're cool, you know? Just learn how to make custom leather kink gear. I do like the idea of doing leather working, you know? That's a fun idea. Listen, as usual, I just want to address this comment. Like, if you guys are having any kind of rough times in your life, don't worry about donating to me, especially for dumb shit like this. I clearly don't fucking need this. Like, clearly I don't need this. But I want it a lot. So if you are trying to, like, you know, donate to me, don't do it if you are having any kind of a rough time. which might mean that I get way less money when everybody's having a rough time. But that's like, I would much rather you take care of yourselves than buy me dumb shit. Or even if your idea is like, I'm going to send this $5 to make sure that Luxander can buy groceries, because that's what I use my money for. Don't do it if you need that $5 for anything. So. I would like a sticker that says, "'Twas the tism, my lord." Yeah. Speaking of that, so this is random and unrelated, but we talked about A Song of Ice and Fire a minute ago, and we're talking about my lord now. There's a new show on HBO, and it's called A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, and it's really fucking good. It's about Sir Duncan the Tall. So he's just like a dude, and his problems are like, I need to be able to feed my horses. And that's his whole deal. So instead of like Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, where you're talking about the highest echelon of society and the Game of Thrones, and there's all these super high stakes, it's just a show about a fucking guy who, like, he just needs a job. He just needs a job. That's kind of his primary conflict that he has. He's like, I need money. And I've watched the first episode because that's all that's out right now, and it's really good. And it's only going to be like 2 seasons long. And the main event of the whole thing, like, okay, you know how the main event of the whole thing in House of the Dragon is a civil war? Well, the main thing of this whole season is a tournament. So it's like 6 episodes that are all about, I'm just trying to make some money at this tournament. So I really would like more people to talk to about it. I watched it last night and it made me so happy. And then I watched like some videos about like people like, ooh, did you miss all these Easter eggs? And like, let me explain the plot to you. So it's like you watch the show and then you have all of the content that you can go watch now of people telling you mostly things that you already know, because I am fully spoiled on some of the major surprises from this show. But yeah, if you like A Song of Ice and Fire, but you don't like how obnoxiously high stakes everything is, watch A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Get to know Sir Duncan the Tall. Peter Claffey is such a great actor. He really brings it together. Owl, are you leaving? Goodbye. William says, I need groceries money. Somebody give me groceries money. Where can I sell my feet pics? Fansly or OnlyFans, you know? Pick your favorite. I'm just gonna run to the restroom really quick and like rest my voice for half a second. So don't go anywhere. I'm gonna switch over to the other. Well, I don't know. Do you want to do a chair stream? Do we want to Hassan this? I'll let you have the chair for 5 minutes while I go to the bathroom and wash my hands. Okay? I'll be right back. There you go. You got your chair. Chair. Was I gone for 5 minutes? No, only 3 minutes. Oh well. Oh well. I brought snacks. I didn't eat enough earlier, so. This chair is amazing. You love the chair? Like I literally pulled this chair out of the dumpster, in Kansas. So I haven't made an attempt to research chairs. What do you if you're a bisexual and you have hypermobility? I don't know. What's a great chair option for you?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Joshua Everett, for the $2 super chat. The chair, indeed. That brings us up to $87. We only need $13 more to reach the goal, and we'll get to see what's in the treasure chest over there. Good night, Mama. Have a good night. Good luck tomorrow. Please don't get disappeared. I'll be very upset. I made a lot of kink toys with leather, mostly stuff for impact play. See, I feel like I've been trying to get my partner interested in this, and it's like, he's kind of like Ace, though, so it's like, you know, if you're not interested in the vanilla stuff even, then, like, it's kind of hard to get you to do kink stuff, right? I don't know. Maybe that's something we'll talk about in therapy. Fucking who cares? Sex chair is best chair. Whoa! What even does that mean? What is a sex chair? Do you mean like a sex swing? Like what is a sex chair? Or do you mean like from Alice in Sexland, all the furniture that comes to life and fucks you? Anyway. $87 for today. Treasure chest. Treasure chest. Watch out, everybody. It's a treasure chest. I say go to Staples and sit in every one of the 150 options until you find the perfect butt groove for yourself. That's fair. If you have a bunch of money, Herman Miller Embody. That's a style of chair, I assume. It's a chair that has the ability to accept attachments in multiple locations to accommodate for different body configurations. For them bisexuals. Okay, got you. Bananas are delicious. Jovan said that he'd never eaten a banana, and my mind was blown. Like, how do you... It's like one of the most available fruits. Chewing noises. Can you actually hear it? I thought that my microphone was supposed to be only picking up, like, voices, but... Sorry. Banana. I thought you wanted a bisexual chair. It has to be accommodating of the way that bisexuals sit in a chair. Like the chair on the bridge of the new the USS Athena from the new Star Trek TV show, you know? Where Holly Hunter keeps sitting in it very bisexually. Did you peel it in the smart way? Nope. Sure didn't. There's the long part down at the bottom there. Wait, where? Oh, I had to rip the top off of it. There it is. My kids and I made ghost pepper chili last night. My wife just tried it. Her voice dropped a whole damn octave. Listen. They're delicious. Were they really? Gayfash, that's so funny. Chuds were mad that she was sitting in the chair. Were they like, because it's disrespectful to the office or something? Like, I don't know. With the crossed legs or the knee tucks. Yes, I'm literally sitting cross-legged right now. And when you see me like adjusting and stuff, like, now I'm sitting on my feet. Like I'm sitting on my ankles. Finster had a video where they were discussing that feature of their chair. Yes. That's awesome. I'll have to check. Bisexual people don't sit, they occupy. Occupy Wall Street, yo. They thought it was unbefitting of her office as captain. Or is she captain and chancellor, or is she only chancellor now? Unbefitting of her office to sit like that. Yeah, I guess she's disrespecting the office by... She sat down very prim, very proper, and it was obviously uncomfortable. And then she started to, like, feel like she was settling into her stuff a little bit, and she's like, I'm gonna lounge on this chair now. Or, like, she tucked her feet up in the chair, which I thought displays a level of trust on how clean that floor is. But then in the next episode, she was walking around barefoot, and I'm like, you have so much trust for how clean this floor is right now. That's so gross. Like, that all these teenagers are walking around. I guess the robots clean often enough, and maybe they sanitize the floor properly. Like, ew. Her Starfleet rank is captain, and her position is Chancellor of Starfleet Academy. Okay, okay. That makes sense. She is, like, captain of the USS Athena, and then also Chancellor of Starfleet Academy. Cool. Riker's rank is commander, and his position is first officer of the Enterprise. Okay. Okay, I got you. Got it. Is the Riker way of sitting also considered bisexual? I'm gonna be silly and pedantic for a second. Please know that I'm not meaning this seriously. I think the way that Riker sits is more like an omnisexual way of sitting, you know? I don't know if Riker's bisexual so much as he's omnisexual. Thoughts on Voyager? I have only seen one episode of Voyager. And it's... What was the episode? What did we watch? It was something to do with Starfleet Academy. It was the episode where there's like a fake Starfleet Academy. That's the only episode of Voyager I've ever seen. Not Picard being the king of bisexual chair sitting. I don't feel like Picard ever sat in a way that I would frame as bisexual seating. Sits pansexually, yeah. I will mute myself when I eat these chips, just so you know. I don't hate you enough to crunch on chips in your ear. These are the delicious chicken chips that I've been eating. They're made out of chicken. And I'm not sponsored by them, but oh boy, will I continue eating them forever. Dude, if they wanted to send me, like, 8 boxes of this and like, in response, in, like, answer for having me just talk about it, I would. What is the company that makes these? Wild protein chips made by... I don't know who they're made by, but fucking... I will tell everybody how great they are if you send me some. I don't see, like, like, what the company is. Is it just Wild? It might just be Wild. Yeah, distributed by Wild Brands in Nashville. Listen, they're so yummy. They've got programmable matter in the new show. I'm sure the floors clean themselves. Yeah. Oh, I guess they could also... Yeah, somebody said, like, they could be just auto-cleaning anytime they transport from one place to another. That's true, too. That's fair. I'm gonna eat some chips real quick and continue reading chat. Are those chips like jerky, kind of? Yeah, kind of. I mean, they're super crunchy, but it's like made out of... It says chicken breast, egg whites, and chicken bone broth. And it's obviously, it's got other stuff in it, like tapioca starch and things like that. But yeah, it's basically like made out of actually chicken parts made into a chip. So they taste real good. Do you want the ASMR? Here, I'll give you one. Too many people don't like it. So I'm muting myself. Sorry. Headcanon, but for me, Riker is omnisexual and clearly a daddy. True. The crunch is very satisfying. I can confirm. I'll stop eating in a second, sorry. I just really needed a snack. Also, the real life reason that Riker sits that way is because Jonathan Frakes has a bad back. That makes sense. Isn't he a super tall dude? Super tall dudes always have a bad back. Chicken isn't vegan. Was anyone under the impression that I was vegan? Has anybody entered that, operating under that misapprehension?
Oh, yeah.
Jiffy Pop-Tart, thank you! The $20 super chat says, I have no idea what the treasure chest is, but let's all get to learn. Listen, yeah, it's different every time. Every time we do the treasure chest, it's something different. So let's find out. Let's do it. OMG. I'm gonna zip this bag up before I accidentally spill chips everywhere. There we go. That's what we're doing here. Okay. Oh my god, you're covered in little hairs. Where have you been? What have you been getting up to? Buonanana. Ah! Oh, okay. Oh! Oh, okay. Hey, listen. I'm gonna need you to calm the fuck down, okay? Listen. Hey. We have a cooperative relationship. Okay? Listen. Not this time, bitch. We have tiny things. Tiny things this time. Ooh. What we have here are two tiny dragons. Tiny dragon. Tiny dragon. Tiny dragons. Tiny dragon. This one's glass. This is like a little tiny glass dragon. Look at it with its tiny little wings and its little mustache. Listen. What a pretty little thing. And then this one's made out of paper. This is an origami. Whoa, this is an origami dragon. I don't know why that's happening in my brain now. Tiny dragon. Tiny dragons. Tiny, tiny dragons. They're my babies. Listen. We love them. We love. Jonathan Frakes is almost as tall as me and can confirm our backs suck ass. He's 6'4". Yeah, okay. Tall people and their rough backs. I'm glad to be of a middling height. Tiny dragons. Little friendship. Tiny guy. Listen, like, I feel like the level of detail on this glass one, like, I don't know how well you can see it. Whoop. Like, with my white hand in the background, not very well. But, look, it's so... Hello? Is it me you're looking for? Tiny dragon. Yeah, Star Wars song. I don't know where that came from. I'm 6'4" and my back is hit or miss. I think that everybody romanticizes the idea of being that tall. But it's kind of hell, right? Yeah, you're like, my back hurts and I'm like too tall to fuck my wife. Like, I don't know. You ever see people with like a big height disparity and you're like, how does that work? Thank you everybody for your donations. I will update the number. We went over the number 107. Treasure chest. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. It always feels accomplished. You like, if you set yourself a goal with work and you hit it, you're like, yes. We're having some confusion over pansexual and bisexual and omnisexual in the chat, which is shocking because my video explaining the difference between these terms still to this day is one of my highest trafficked videos each month. I want to show you this really quick. I remember seeing Shaq with his girlfriend who was literally half his height, and I'm like, how does that happen? I guess, like, she's on top every time. Like, right? I guess, like, I don't know how else that happens. Can you go? I don't know how else that happens. If they're in missionary, there's no way. She, like, her face is, like, rubbing against the middle of his chest / the top of his belly. Like, I don't get it. I had a buddy who was twice the height of his wife. They demonstrated how it works when I joked that I couldn't imagine it. Was she on top? Is that how it works? Like I said, I think that that's the only way that it works. But yeah, I just want you to, I'm going to explain bisexual versus pansexual in a second here. But look at this. Like, so this is my analytics from the past month. Like, these are the videos that have performed the best over the past 28 days. Still, every fucking month, this video in my top 10. Every month, this video is in my top 10 from 2019. Anyway, so bisexual is like, it's practical for stand-up oral. Holy fucking shit. I saw that message before you retracted it. Anyway, so bisexual is like, I'm attracted to more than one gender. Some bisexuals mean I'm only exclusively attracted to men and women, but bisexual is actually an umbrella term for like all these different things. So like, I'm technically bisexual, even though I really don't identify as bisexual, but it just means like you're attracted to more than one gender. And people like the flag, and they like that the term has been around for a long time. And there's like a community around bisexuality and blah, blah, blah. Pansexual means that the person's gender isn't really part of the equation. Like, they're attracted to hot people, and that doesn't really matter if that person is a man or a woman or non-binary. They're just like, yeah, you're hot, I don't really care. Whatever genitals you have, I'm on board. I don't really give a shit. Hot is hot. That's what a pansexual is. Omnisexual is kind of an attempt to, I think that it kind of is an attempt to avoid, like, bisexual implies to some people who hear it, they hear men and women. So omnisexual is kind of the answer to, I don't want people to think when I say bi that I'm only attracted to men and women, or that I'm only attracted to cis people. So omnisexual is supposed to be like, I'm attracted to anyone of any gender, but unlike pansexual, omnisexual, they do care about the person's gender. It's just that they'll date anybody regardless of their gender, right? So like, I'm attracted to men in a very specific way. Like, I'm attracted to masculine men. Like, I'm not attracted to feminine men very much. Like, I'm attracted to, like, I don't know. I'm not like going to say that I'm specifically attracted to hairy men, but like, that is a thing about men that I can appreciate. Or like, I'm attracted to women for their femininity. Like, I'm not super attracted to like butch lesbians. Like, I'm not super attracted to masculine women. I am attracted to women who like have feminine features and that kind of stuff. So it's like, omnisexual is kind of attempting to get around like pansexual. Pansexuals don't really care about gender. They could be like, I'm attracted to anyone who's hot, and maybe you're a feminine man or you're a masculine woman or you're a masculine man. I don't really care, like all these different things. And then there's also polysexual, which I think is meant to be kind of an umbrella term for anyone who is not, it's like poly versus mono. So monosexual would be like, I'm only attracted to men. Like a straight woman is monosexual. But polysexual is kind of meant to be an umbrella term for anyone who is attracted to someone of more than one gender. At the end of the day, a lot of people just stick with bisexual because it is the term that is the oldest and it has the most community and people like the flag. So bisexual and pansexual are kind of the only terms that you'll really hear in the common parlance. I have rejected all of these labels and I just call myself queer. Which I guess to me, queer is like I'm attracted to people on whatever terms and it doesn't really matter. And like, I don't want to accidentally imply that I'm only attracted to men and women or that there is only a gender binary. But if you read the Bisexual Manifesto, which I have a video reading the Bisexual Manifesto, I probably should redo it. But bisexuals don't want you to think, at least as far as the history of the movement goes, they don't want to imply that there are only two genders. So anyway, that's a whole fucking hot mess. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day what all the differences are. It just is like people who are attracted to more than one gender and who choose to speak about it in different ways. I'm F-slur. I did almost call myself F-slur at the beginning of this stream. And then I was like, let me not do that. I'm gonna eat some more of these chips, and then I'll stop eating. But I'm just gonna pull out a handful of these chips and put them on my desk, and then eat them, and then I will put the chips away. Bye-bye, chips. Bye-bye-bye. Haha, bye-bye-bye. Get it? Bye-bye-bye. You're a bisexual, and I'm saying bye-bye. Anyway. Fucking kill me. It's interesting being demi and being confused by most everyone else. I think this might be another reason why I'm kind of uncomfortable with people being like, OMG, I'm so hot and I have a crush on you. Because I'm definitely, like, at least a little bit demisexual. Also, I don't know why, but often when I'm thinking about bisexuality, I want to say bishrexual, like Shrek, and I don't know where that came from. Okay, I'm done eating chips now. I'll stop eating chips. Because it requires me to be silent, and boy, is that difficult. I feel like the demi... What did you say? The demi spectrum should be separate from the sexuality spectrum. I mean, they are. It's like, there's like two different axes, right? It's like two different axes of like which genders you're attracted to. Obviously, like, the putting it on an X and Y axis kind of implies only two genders, whatever. I guess, you know, androgyny can be in the mix somewhere. Like, maybe it's got, like, 3 axes and then 2. But, like, asexuality is a spectrum of, like, how intense your attraction is. So, like, asexuals have 0 attraction. Maybe they're, like, romantically interested in men or women or whatever. But it's like a scale of intensity. And so like a demisexual is like, I'm, you know, only interested under certain conditions or whatever. And then there's like all the way on hypersexual, like hypersexual being extreme, like you'd do it with anybody anytime or whatever. I don't actually know. Like, I'm just now realizing that I just said that, and I don't know if hypersexual is considered on the, like, asexuality spectrum. I do know that hypersexuality is a term that is sometimes used to describe people who are like maladaptively hypersexual because of trauma or something. The relationship cake. I don't think I've heard of the relationship cake before. I'll look it up though. Relationship cake. Is a homosexual someone who only has eyes for one Shrek? It only has eyes for a same Shrek, right? Attraction layer cake is what it's called. Attraction layer cake. Okay, I see that that's a Google search result. Now we're back around to cake and food again. Someone asked me earlier if I prefer cake or pie. We're back on food again. Okay, this is the attraction layer cake. Okay, I've seen this before. So the attraction type being like, okay, so that's the layer cake. So the black layer is aromantic sexuality. Gray is aromantic asexuality. So aromantic asexuals. No sexual or romantic attraction. Or gray is romantic asexuality. So you have romance, but you're asexual. Orchid, which is tertiary sexuality, does not experience sexual attraction, but comfortable having sexual relations for distinct purposes, such as childbearing. Pink, secondary sexuality. Romantic, platonic, and aesthetic attraction are established easily. Sexual attraction develops over the course of relationships, but not immediately. So that's like demisexual, I guess. Excuse me. Red is primary sexuality. Sexual attraction exists immediately and may or may not be acted upon. However, other components are essential to the relationship, such as bonding or companionship. And then this top layer is aromantic sexuality. The purpose of relationships is primary sexuality. Romance is not specifically desired. Then there's like relationship type, whether you're strictly monogamous, primary monogamous, no preference, primarily polyamorous, or strictly polyamorous. And then orientation type, this is like the conversation we're accustomed to having. Exclusively heterosexual, predominantly heterosexual, slightly heterosexual, completely bi/pansexual, slightly homosexual, predominantly homosexual, or exclusively homosexual. So it's really interesting having like degrees. So it's like you could identify as bisexual, but be like slightly leaning one direction or the other, and that fits into this scale. So that's kind of cool. And it basically fits all types of romantic and sexual and relationship dynamic into this one cake. So hey, that's very cool. Cheesecake, best of both worlds. I truly believe that a cheesecake is a pie. I know cake experts who agree with, like Johnny Cakes, he agrees with me. Cheesecake is a pie. It has a crust and a filling. It's a fucking pie. Like, it's a pie. You can't accidentally make something make this little sense. I feel like this is super clear, and I don't know what your stumbling block is. Or maybe you're talking to someone in the chat. I don't know. +1 for cheesecake is a pie. Cheesecake is not a pie. How is it a cake? How is it a cake? A cake has flour in it. And is like baked. And then it has layers. A pie has a crust and a filling. Cheese pie sounds like some kink genre. True. A cheesecake is an open-faced pie, which is a pizza. Sure. That's funny. String, I don't know if maybe you're behind, but I did just show this, which is like kind of explaining that demisexuality. So this right here, attraction type, meaning like under what conditions do you experience sexual attraction? Like demisexual means you only experience attraction to a person who is like who you have an emotional relationship with. So like romantic, platonic, or aesthetic attraction are established first, and then sexual attraction can develop after you are comfortable with the person. As opposed to some people who are like, I'm immediately sexually attracted to that person and I don't need to have a buildup. But this doesn't regard what gender you are attracted to. You could be like exclusively attracted to men and also demisexual. So you're like, okay, yeah, that might make dating men really hard. If you're like, I really need to like have a strong romantic connection with you before I'm like literally even interested in having sex with you. And some men who are more like primary sexuality, where they're like, I want to fuck you immediately, like you might be on a mismatch there, you know? Cursed thing you just said, Verse, this is a call out post. That was a terrible thing you just said. Why is there ads? Because this is my job. That's why. Because it's my job. This is the internet has set itself up in this way where you get free content and the price that you pay is having to sit through an ad every fucking 30 minutes or whatever. Cheese pie does just sound like a pizza. Yeah. Well, okay. Faulty says pies have filling, pizzas have toppings. What say you then to a Chicago pizza? Which I've never had before. I've never had a Chicago style pizza, but my understanding is that it kind of has like a filling situation where it has like a layer of like cheese and a layer of sauce, the layer of sauce. Just seems silly to have ads on a live stream. You get 3 solid hours of content from me. And so, yeah, ads are going to play every 20 minutes or so. Like, that's how the economic model works. It's like, you realize that's part of what makes it worth it for me to do a 3-hour stream. Because I do get direct donations, but if I have a stream where I make 0 donations, because there are like days where I make 0 donations, but I still get ad revenue for 3 hours worth of content. Like that's the economic model that we're operating under. Oh my god, I'm starting to get a little red mark on my chin too. Fucking goddamn it. Is there a link to that attraction cake thing? I just Googled attraction layer cake and it was the top result. Attraction layer cake. I thought you liked socialism-free things. Yay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, let me go ahead and, like, stop paying my rent, too. Nothing that Americans eat is pizza when you look at what the original pizza from Italy looks like. See, I've said this before, but I would love to travel, and it's almost exclusively for food. Like I would love to go to Italy and experience their food, and I would love to go to France and experience their food. Like a lot of places in the US, I don't really care. Like, OMG, let me go to Texas for some Texas barbecue. I don't give a shit about that. I guess like, you know, food truck culture. I need to go to more food trucks. Because there are a lot in the Portland area. So like, you know, some authentic, you know, when Mexicans have a food truck and you get the good shit. So I kind of would love to explore more food options. That's the one thing I want to travel for. I guess I do kind of like the idea of seeing beautiful places too. And like smelling the ocean and things, like getting to experience the clean air and stuff. But food is the dominant reason why I want to travel. Chicago pizza is like a lasagna without pasta. But is it like a pie? in the sense that it's got like a crust on the outside and then it's got like fillings. Excuse me. Chicago style pizza is an abomination. That is my hot take. I love pizza and I mean all pizza, but that ain't pizza. Sure thing, kitty. Kitty says, I'm tired of people saying that, pizza is nothing like Italian pizza, I assume is what you mean. Like, American style pizza was pioneered by Italian immigrants who had access to different flavors. But I will say American mozzarella cheese is mostly garbage because of the part skim shit. Oh, yeah. I would love to make mozzarella cheese. It's kind of like on my bucket list to buy like a gallon of milk and like make my own mozzarella cheese out of it. But as I understand it, it's like pretty tricky to get it right. I know, Viren, I know. I'm 100% a food tourist. When I'm road tripping, finding a local mom and pop to experience is one of the best parts of travel. Yes, I love food. I'm such a fucking foodie. My partner bought me saffron for my birthday or Christmas or something, and I still haven't done anything with it. It's just like in my cabinet. I think I asked you all what I should do with saffron to find out, do I like its flavor profile? And I think the answer was I was going to make a saffron panna cotta, which is like a dessert, right? It's like a pudding-ish dessert. Yeah, oof. I forgot how much of a foodie I am. I've gotten so into this rhythm of like making my food and just doing dinners and stuff that I sometimes forget like, oh no, I'm somebody who is deeply impacted by the pleasures of good fucking food. There is such a thing as a deep dish pie. So Chicago pizza is just that. It's to the ordinary pizza pie. So the pizza pie and the Chicago pie, and then there's like regular pie, and then a deep dish pie is a thing. Oh, I've never heard of deep dish pie. That's cool. Lex, who is your favorite host on the line? I'm going to be for real with you. This is one of my least favorite things about being a host on the line, or even producing on the line, is when the audience members say like, so-and-so is my favorite host on the line, especially if that person is not there. Like sometimes our callers will be like, I love you, so-and-so, even though Forrest is my favorite. And I'm like, nobody wants to hear that. We are not in a competition for being the best host on the line. We all have our different strengths and weaknesses. And so you might be gassing up one person. Like, I know Forrest is great. I love him too. I'm glad that I get to talk to him on a regular basis. He's a super cool guy. And at the same time, like by comparison, how does it feel if no one ever says that you're the favorite host, right? Like, how many people say that Aaron Adair is their favorite host? And I'm not saying that to like knock on him. I don't usually see people say that, right? But so how does Aaron feel that he's nobody's favorite host? It just as an example, like I don't actually know if that's the case, but it's just like none of it. I don't want to engage in that. It's not really the thing that I think is appropriate to do. I wish I could afford takeaway for once. Yeah. The economy. Shake my head, the economy. The line is my favorite, the line. Exactly. See? There you go. I'm annoyed that a gallon of milk now costs $5, which is close to how much a pound of cheese costs. Fuck everything. Plus the cost of materials to make the cheese and my time. Gotta find a farm to buy milk from or buy a goddamn cow. You just have to milk the cow every single day, and it's even twice a day for some cows, and that just seems like a good cow could get you like 4 gallons a day. I've heard that. It's more than enough. If you get one cow, it's more than enough milk and milk product for one family. Making cheese is one of the few homesteading skills that was not enjoyable. Yeah, because like if you only have the one cow, you still have to get hold of rennet. You know, like you still have to get hold of rennet, and the availability of rennet previously was on account of like how often we were slaughtering animals. And like we would put the milk in the stomach and then it would become cheese because of the rennet in the stomach. So like how are you gonna, it doesn't seem like an easy thing to do as far as homesteading skills go. The Amish here sell you like a portion of the cow and then you come by every week and get a free gallon of milk. That's awesome, except that it would be probably unpasteurized and there's no fucking way I'm drinking raw milk. That's crazy. But I like that. The idea that you possess a share, you basically possess a share of a cow and then you get like a certain percentage of its output. That's cool. Did you see Josh from Rhett and Link making banana and terracotta pie for Serge Tankian? Incredible moment. I did not. It's one of those things where I don't watch an interview show really unless I like the person being interviewed and I don't know who some of the people are that they interview. So that might be one that I missed because like I just don't know who that person is. Invest in cow today. Yep. Yep. Look at my crazy hair. Why are you so crazy? Why are you doing things? Calm down. I'm gonna need you to calm down. Have you noticed how the Trump administration has suddenly been doing a ton of whole milk advocacy out of nowhere? And I strongly believe they were about to do raw milk advocacy and changed at the last minute. Ooh. You know, I hadn't considered that. I knew that they were doing a bunch of whole milk advocacy. I guess I just kind of assumed that it's part of their whole, like, make Americans have a heart attack again. Like, because they're doing a bunch of things that are making us unhealthy, right? They're like doing all these things. They're cutting funding for research. They're reducing the vaccine requirements and stuff. So I guess I just assumed like, whole milk, while delicious, is also has more saturated fats and therefore is worse for your heart health. It's like, trade-offs. It's good for some parts of your health and bad for other parts of your health, right? So I just kind of assumed that it was part of their broader campaign to, make America less healthy. But yeah, that's a really interesting idea that they were about to do raw milk advocacy. Why do you think they pivoted off of that? If your theory is that they were about to do raw milk advocacy, because I also know that raw milk is having a resurgence of popularity amongst the idiots of this country, but you can tell 100% it was going to be raw milk because in the ads they say shit like you can do it again, it's unbanned, implying it was originally for something that had been banned. But why would they change their mind? Because again, I'm assuming that if they were going to campaign for raw milk, then that is also because they want to kill all of us. The whole got milk thing was a government op. I'm not surprised if that's the case. I need to put some shit on my lips before I start tearing the skin off my face again. Probably because lawyers actually got through to them and they were like, these would be the easiest lawsuits for you to lose ever. Well, isn't RFK Jr. a lawyer? So I saw someone saying that he says things in a way that would reduce liability. So like because of the specific way that RFK Jr. phrases things when he has these announcements or advertisements or whatever, that like he places himself in a spot where he is less liable to be sued. So it, maybe even if he was like, oh, I see that I would be yeah, I know about the brainworm, but he might be savvy enough as a lawyer to be like, okay, we couldn't reasonably support raw milk because no matter how we say it, there's going to be lawsuits and we're going to easily lose them. But also, it wouldn't surprise me if it was just some other lawyers, like other consultants who were like, don't do this. One of the MAGA politicians drank raw milk and then got sick because of it. Lamau. Why do I not like Republicans so much? Yeah, Gayfesh has a great point. I mean, it's like, what? So first of all, I didn't start it. There's like the hate from Republicans in my direction. Like as a person who needs access to hormones, or as a person who needs access to abortion care, or as a person who is non-religious, I'm not the one who initiated hostilities. Republicans hate me. So my feelings about Republicans are kind of a reaction to them hating me. And also, Republicans want to gut social services. They want little kids to starve. They want little kids to have negative health outcomes. They want women to die rather than receive necessary health care. Like, it's bad for the country and bad for the world. Like, I feel like you must be new here. And by here, I mean to planet Earth. Can aliens invade and take over? I'm open to alternatives. True. I've always been a whole milk fan because I'm usually using it for cooking, where the milk fat just displaces the need for more butter. I really do love whole milk. I don't really drink it, though. I have kind of switched entirely to soy milk because, first of all, I'm a soy cuck, obviously. But I had a blood lipids test done in 2024, and I had like high lipids, not high lipids, but like elevated lipids. So I just was like, okay, there's some easy lifestyle changes I can make, and one of them is just switching off of milk. So I buy whole milk for my teenager because my teenager needs more calories, but I'm just like, I'm good with drinking soy milk. I don't really drink milk by itself anyway. I'm mixing in chocolate or protein powder or something. So whole milk is also good for babies if they aren't getting breast milk because the fats are good for their stupid little baby brains. I feel like, I don't know if that's true. Can newborns drink whole milk? Infants and newborns under 12 months should not drink regular cow's milk. But that was the AI. Yeah, no. WebMD says after 12 months of age, your baby can have whole cow's milk instead of breast milk, but you shouldn't do it under 12 months. Same for honey. You should not give honey to anyone under 12 months of age. If they're under 12 months, that's what formula is for. Not newborn. Okay, yeah. If your kid's like 18 months old, you can give them milk. Yeah. Are they really? Wait, Jenna, I haven't seen that. Jenna says MAGA are now at the point of the meme where they say age of consent is woke. What? OMG. That's crazy. Hail hydrate, y'all. Food is delicious. Milk is delicious. butter is delicious. I have recently been doing bagels with butter, and man, there's something so unique about that pleasure. It's like toasting a bagel, putting some Tillamook extra creamy salted butter on that bitch. Mm. I'm like, I love cream cheese, but I don't even need cream cheese, baby. Give me some butter. They keep pushing this idea that little girls of age 13 and 14 should be getting married and having babies. That's horrendous. Y'all, when people, okay, I just want to, if you've never heard of this before, I just have to say, if you are ever wondering why the maternal mortality rate used to be so high in like medieval Europe or whatever, okay? A person who's like 14 or 15 years old, maybe they've started menstruating, but their body, like human bodies are already not optimized for babies. Like, you know, we're talking about it on Skeppy Talk this week, but like the size of the head versus the size of the pelvis, like human beings being upright and bipedal means that we need a narrow pelvis. And so a narrow pelvis means that, like, this is why we have issues with childbearing, right? Like, because the baby needs to come out and the baby is like not done forming, but humans have big brains. And so we need a big head. So they kind of like shove it out of there. So if an adult body is not really optimized for giving birth and there's all these complications, then can you imagine somebody who is not even fully grown yet going through that same experience and trying to push out a 9-pound baby? Like, maternal mortality rate used to be so high because we were impregnating 13-year-olds. And like, they were pushing out babies that they were not fully developed for. So that's part of why. It's not the only reason, but it is certainly part of why. Dude, I'm like, women should be encouraged to wait until 25 to 30 for first babies. Yeah. Let people at least start to grow up before they try to raise someone. That's true, too. Don't wait too long to have babies because older couples have increased risks of neurodevelopmental disorders in children. I mean, yeah, but that's like, we're talking about when you get into your like 40s and 50s. Like when you get into your 50s, yeah, everybody's genetic material has degraded somewhat, including sperm. Like sperm loses quality the older you get. But I think reasonable to say if you wait until you're about 30 to have your first kid. I mean, like, I'm 31 and I'm considering having a kid in the next couple of years. And like that is, I think, technically a geriatric pregnancy in terms of like risks and stuff. But yeah, I feel like that's reasonable. Age of consent equals AOC equals Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez equals woke lib shit. True. Tillamook is one of the few brands that have survived the 2020's grocery price apocalypse in my spending the best. I mean, that's part of why I like to buy local is like, okay, so I'm buying Tillamook brand. Guess what? They make it in the state that I live. So I'm not paying for the shipping costs. You realize, like, okay, this is one of those things that I bring up in terms of like climate change and, you know, the economy being unstable or whatever. If gasoline prices go up exponentially, the price of everything goes up because things have to be shipped. So like, okay, Tillamook brand dairy products are made in Oregon. And then if they get shipped all the way to the East Coast, well, you have to pay some dude to drive the truck. You have to pay for all of the diesel in between here and there. And you additionally have to pay for diesel for the refrigeration part of the truck. Like, there's just, it all stacks on top of each other very quickly. So yeah, support local. Eat local brands. You're telling me my sperm cellar full of vintage 1985 is worthless? Son of a bitch. I don't know if that's how it works. If it was cryogenically frozen in 1985, I think it could still be okay. But like the sperm that people produce when they're older, you know what I mean? You're just joshing me. 44 is a wild ride, though I know more than one woman who delivered after 50. Listen, my sister is like 10 years older than me, and she just had 2 babies in the last few years. Like, I think one of her babies is like 3 years old, and the other one is like almost 18 months old. So she is like, she was like 37 when she had one of those babies. So, it's about being at a stable place in your life. And of course, get testing done and get ultrasounds to make sure that your baby doesn't have like a fucked up problem before they're born, Later, Lucia, have fun. I'm almost done too. I'll be getting off of here in a couple of minutes. I'm like getting close to that 3-hour mark. Dude, birth is a fucking wild ride. Shout out to every human that has ever given birth. That shit is fucking wild. Wife did a stand and deliver at 39, no epidural. That is the most badass toddler. This is the most badass toddler I've ever met. So yeah, don't live your life by statistics. They have all been manipulated by someone for some purpose. Pay attention to statistics, but always look up the counter statistics and what factors were put in the pile. Stand and deliver. I understand no epidural. Like, you're as horrible as it is when you're giving birth, like, your brain gives you amnesia chemicals so that you don't remember it forever. So you don't, like, birth doesn't traumatize people, usually. Birth is not inherently traumatizing because your brain releases amnesia chemicals and you're like, oh, wasn't that so lovely? Oh, wasn't that so great? So I get that part. But so I get the no epidural part, but stand and deliver. What does that mean? Does that mean, okay, do you mean like crouch and deliver? Do you like, cause I understand that part. Like, both, like 2 of my 3 younger siblings were born in a pool of water and like squatting. Okay. Yeah. So you mean squatting. I feel like stand and deliver gives you a completely stand and deliver reminds me of the idea that some people stand up before they wipe their ass when they shit. So like, you stand up and your cheeks meet and then you wipe your ass and you're like standing up. That's fucked up. But if you're like squat and deliver, okay, like squatting, that makes perfect sense. That is what you're supposed to do, in my humble opinion. You stand on the bed and the nurse catches the baby. Yeah, so this is where I see the benefit of doing the water birth, because you can be crouched and then the baby comes out and it's not like thunk, it's not like hitting the floor. Yes, some people stand up and then wipe their asses. That's so true. I wonder when this process evolved, because most mammals do not have our labor pains because they weren't foolish enough to walk on their back legs. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a feature of Homo sapiens sapiens, like, and I imagine that other bipedal hominids probably had the same problem. I would love to ask Erica that, and you know what? I'm about to see Erica like 3 days in a row this week, because she's gonna be on the Sunday show, and I'm doing the Sunday show, and then she's going to be on Skep Talk with Aaron Adair on Monday. And then she's also going to be on Chewed Gum on Tuesday. So I'm about to see Erica 3 days in a row. And I can ask her, to the best of our knowledge, did other hominids like Neanderthals, for example, is it likely that they also experienced the kind of labor pains that we do because of the, like, yeah, it's because it's the combination of those 2 things, like that we have big skulls and that we have a narrow pelvis. Let me make sure that somebody important is not talking to me right now. Nope, that's not important for me. Oh, good gracious. If anyone would know, it's her. Literally, I think she studies like some specific thing within paleoanthropology, but she does know a lot about the subject in general. So yeah, I really love that I have such intimate access to smart people with highly specialized skill sets. That's amazing. Oh no, you're right. I forgot. No, you're right. Labor pain is punishment from God for eating an apple. You know what? That's my bad. I forgot. If you've ever listened to a cow or horse give birth, I'm pretty sure most animals have labor pain. Yeah, I'm sure that it's all relative, and like I'm sure it's not painful. Oh my god. Chill out. I'm sure that it's not painful, but it does seem like relatively less of an ordeal. Her specialty is either teeth or jawbones of hominids. Yeah. So, but it's like some specific. I thought that it was a specific time frame or a specific species or something that I should ask her, like, what is your thesis about? She's about to do her thesis defense. She's hoping to get it done this spring, and I'm so excited for her. That's going to be wonderful. And then we'll have Dr. Gutsick Gibbon on the show. I think Aaron Adair also has a doctorate. Dr. Aaron Adair, I think. Why do we not stand on business and call him doctor all the time? Dr. Adair. My friend calls that access knowing a dude. Though not a guy, it feels good to be a dude at times. Yeah. It's like, I know a guy. That's kind of the level. Like, oh, I know a guy. And I've been able to pull that out before. I'm like, oh yeah, I know a guy who works in that. And it's like, I know other biologists too. Like, I know PZ Myers, who works with spiders at, I think, I don't want to say U of M, like University of Minnesota. I think so. Like, my friend Anya does genetics research. She's still a student, and like, I know several people who work in biology in advanced things, and it's very, very cool knowing so many cool people who know amazing things. Yeah, Aaron is a PhD too. Yes, stand on business for Dr. Adair. Yeah, it's very cool. Being part of the line is amazing. I get to talk to people on a regular basis, which I'm not good at doing otherwise. And I get to know very many cool people, and I get to work with very cool people. I get to support them in doing what they do best, which is yap, 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 yap about everything that they know and love. Yep. Well, we're reaching that 3-hour mark, and my voice is tired, and I have a very important thing that I'm going to do in 1 hour. So I'm going to go do some laundry and chill a little bit, and then do my very first couples therapy session in an hour, which is suddenly making me very anxious. So cool. I'm going to go deal with that. And so I will not be seeing you all on Sunday. On Sunday, I was asked to do production for the Sunday show in the morning, or like in the early afternoon. So I will not be streaming on Sunday, but I am planning on streaming again on Wednesday, which will be the 28th. So we have one more stream before the end of the month. Yay! One more stream before the end of the month. Hasn't this been the longest January of your life? Yay. All right. Much love, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hitting the like button. Thanks for donating. And thanks for all the wonderful conversation. So I will see you next time. Behave. Or at least don't get caught. Bye.